Hello, my people, and welcome to those who are new here. I'm Kristen, and you are in the good. And this is our weekly love and intimacy conversation using Oracle Tarot and all the fun stuff. So, what is it that we need to know? What are the insights that we need to come through? What are the validations that we need? What's lit up? What is hidden? What lies beneath? Show us the lighted pathway. What do we need to know? What's going to be helpful? What's going to be useful and practical? What's going to help us break the cycles from the past stories and the past experiences? What's going to help us create and rewrite a new story around love and intimacy? What's the path forward? All right. We have empathy. I think it's about having empathy for yourself and others, being gentle with yourselves, taking time to nurture yourself. You can't have empathy towards other people and towards someone that you're having intimate communications with, physical, mental, spiritual, all that stuff. You can't have the capacity if you aren't looking after your own abundance first and becoming a whole person and accepting of whatever your perceived mistakes are. You can't go into a new relationship or begin exploring something new. You can't have empathy and sympathy and compassion and non-judgment for somebody else if you're doing that for yourself. You certainly don't want to have telling someone else all the time, oh, let that go and you did your best, and when you're not able to give that to yourself. How can you tell someone, look beyond that and don't judge me on what they did to you? And in some degree, you're still working on that yourself, and it's okay. We're all in process, and sometimes being in relationship or having the opportunity for relationship and intimacy brings up stuff that we need to work on that helps us to heal holistically in all the different areas of our life. So what is the energy between you and just another energy, another person? What is the energy? Uninhibited and released. So in feeling, I love these, like this is like a deck that's not being produced anymore. It's really fun, but this is about, you want to feel free to be completely your whole self. You want to explore areas of yourself in vulnerability, feeling vulnerable physically with someone, feeling safe while being vulnerably physical with someone, being vulnerable to completely express yourself and feel completely surrendered and liberated while they feel the exact same way. There's a sense of two people that have come together or are coming together that you really feel like you could express yourself. And it's almost like you thought you had great sex your whole life. And not that it wasn't, because it was at the time with what you knew and your knowledge and your experience and what you expected and what you liked. But as you grow and come more into yourself, more into the adult, it's almost like this is adulting as we have physical intimacy and really feeling that you can explore all of these avenues of how you want to explore, to feel like you are a complete match and in flow and in complete alignment with someone in a very physical, intimate way. That there are two people that are desiring two people that really have a strong libido. And perhaps there's something about you to them and them to you where you bring that out, like you bring out the sexuality in each other in a way that neither one of you has quite experienced it before. It could be One person kind of always comes across as, what I want to say is someone maybe can seem like they're a player. They're not really a player. They always feel very committed to the person they're with, but they enjoy sexuality and flirtation. But when they're with someone, they're with someone. All right. How's it going for you with this, with everything I'm saying? Let me know in the comments below. Share your thoughts, feelings. Support each other. Give me a thumbs up. If you're still with me here, give me a thumbs up. And join the community if you are simply curious about what else this redhead here on YouTube has to say. Okay, so we've got the Lovers. We know that the Lovers was called the Choice originally, and so this can be about choices, and certainly this can be about choosing a different way of expressing yourself on an intimate level, and wanting to not sacrifice the emotional and intellectual part of the relationship, that you want to feel as aligned intellectually, as aligned spiritually, as aligned physically, all of it. And knowing that there may be moments in time where maybe there's some sort of spiritual kind of modality that the other person isn't quite into, but they love that you explore that stuff. But this is a partnership that it is two people releasing the past, two people deciding on their own that there's been enough of what has been, and that there can be an opportunity to really have a love relationship, a partnership based on who we are now, who we have grown into, but also what really fits us as people. And without any societal structures or things from family, like perhaps somebody in this connection got married once before and it was, I don't know, maybe this is to somebody who was the same religion as them or the same ethnic background as them, or had it was similar to them in some way because they felt they had to, or that was how they grew up. And now it's sort of like, I don't really need to do that anymore. It's not about trying to create, it's like I want to create my own traditions. And there's somebody here that wants to show their children. They have children that they want to show you can create your own traditions. You can take what works from what I have shown you, from what has worked in my life and not worked in my life with relationship. It's like, I don't regret marrying your mom or your dad, but this is what I learned and I passed it on to you, and you don't need to do that. So there's somebody here that is working through that, and that is informing this partnership that they are exploring with you or in with you in some capacity or another. Lost my screensaver. Everything went dark. So has everything kind of gone dark? Oh, there it is. So it went dark. There was a delay, and now it's lit up. Now it's come back. So did someone go dark on you and there's been a delay or a pause? This is a sign that they're coming back. Now, if stuff wasn't cool and you don't want them, fine. But it's a lot of times people like, oh, people never change, or they come back, or people can get down on that. And like sometimes there is a needed delay or a needed blackout, or to go dark sometimes can be the process that someone needs to go through on the journey of their own self-awareness, their own personal growth. Like they're not going to be ready for you without that experience. And it can be very upsetting, frustrating, irritating. It can piss you off. It can depress you when you feel like you've got this person that you feel uninhibited with. You feel like being in their presence helps you release all your relationship past traumas, because it's something about it feels so good, or there's a potentiality, an opportunity that really is so completely different than anything you've had before. It feels like it's the same thing with you towards them, but then there can be sometimes moments of pause, or moments where people really need to go off and do their own thing. So if that's you, and that's why you're here in this reading, and just wanting to get some insights or some validations on what your gut, what your heart is saying, this person is very likely to come back. And what I would say is to be ready with, what choices are you making? Because you have a right to express yourself, a right to say what works for you, what doesn't work for you. People really do, in the end, respect you for saying how you really feel. And if they don't, I mean, obviously you don't want to move forward with that anyway. But sometimes people really do need to kind of go off and ponder. And if it's too long for you, it's too long for you. And I think I said this in the other love reading last week, and I think it's always true. If you're delaying going out on a coffee date with someone, or having a conversation, or not considering, I mean, you don't need to do that. I mean, you could end up marrying and spending the rest of your life with this person that you're coming to this reading and wondering about, but go on a bunch of really cool dates in the meantime. And in the meantime, learning more about yourself, what your needs are on an intimate level, what is the rapport? Sometimes it takes having a certain connection with someone else and seeing how we are and how we jive and how we flow. And maybe you don't feel as uninhibited and released with other people, but you can still go have a good time. We're not supposed to stop having fun. Here with the Strength card, someone doesn't want to feel like they're going to be tied down or overcommitted, and it's almost like the passion, the feeling so uninhibited, so drawn to you. It's like they're, maybe in the past they've done that before. They've been the kind of like person that went for it without, a little bit too fast. And this slowness, this delay, is about beginning to feel comfortable with themselves in the environment with you, in relationship, because it's this feeling of, maybe you're around someone and everything makes them feel committed. It's like anything that could somewhat be any kind of a commitment or obligation, it makes them feel it's like this, because they've had some experience in the past, or experiences in the past, where they felt like someone was trying to tame them. And it's like, you're not trying to tame them. It's about, they surrender to you, you surrender to them. And it's okay for them to surrender to you. Maybe they need surrendering. That's part of what they need to come to understand, is that it's okay to surrender to love. That perhaps they've had a lot of physical intimacy and physicality, and it wasn't as connected emotionally. Not that they weren't in love with the person for what that meant for them at the time, what that experience was for them at the time, that was very real. Maybe there's a new definition of what love is, and it's based on the needs that they have now. But what everybody needs to understand is that everyone in the situation has needs. And sometimes when perhaps the other person, they're so like, okay, I'm going to make sure my needs are met this time around, I'm not going to compromise. And then it's like, it can get stuck. And you with the same things. Like, I've always been this way. I've always been too compromising. I've got to stand up for myself. And so sometimes, so people can feel like these are just my basic needs, and it can feel overwhelming for the other person, perhaps. It's amazing how it's like, you can like just someone so darn much. You can feel that falling, that what can be that falling feeling of falling in love. And it really can make a person feel like, oh my God, I'm falling, I'm losing control. So what else? So working, reevaluating. Someone's distracting themselves with work because they don't want to get themselves involved in some sort of commitment that could feel like work to them. And what they don't understand is that, yes, sometimes things take a certain amount of work, but when you have so much freedom, ultimately, when you have understanding, when you have two people who have empathy for each other based on their own self-preservation and nurturing and care, and they can really express themselves, you don't mind commit. There could be a definition of what commitment means. It doesn't have to mean, oh, or I'm being suppressed, or I'm obligated to do that. It can just be, I'm going to commit. And I'm also committing to all the good things as well. And it's worth it. And it can take time to come around to that. Because there's a lot of, it's like the grass is always greener with all the opportunities. It's like, what do I do? Do I give up on love? Could it really be this person? Should I explore other opportunities? And there's a certain amount of exploring the other opportunities to get clear, right? Don't be afraid of it yourself, but don't be afraid of them doing it, especially if something is not defined yet as we are a couple, or we're just casually dating and getting to know each other, especially if there's a kind of break or a pause. It's like, I don't know. I mean, this is what I really feel, and this is just what I'm going to say, is that they can talk to other people all they want. They're never going to get the partnership they seek with a lot of these people that it feels like they're kind of going around talking to all the same people that they used to talk to in the past, or all the kind of people that their friends think that they should be based on what their friends wanted in relationship. It feels like going over a lot of the old stuff, replaying the same cycles out with the same kind of people. And it's like, it's really not gonna compare with something that is completely new and ultimately more satisfying. So don't be afraid of it if you're like, well, I wonder if they're talking to other people. I mean, they may not be. This is for those where you have the blackout. You're in a blackout. You're not in a blackout. This is also a message about there's no need to be jealous. If that's something that is coming up, then it's an opportunity to look at those places where we need to just touch upon being gentle around, strengthening our own value and worth, and knowing that a miracle can occur. And there can be two people that are like, despite everything, I really just want to sit still with you and get to know you. Because I feel like I could surrender to you. Because I feel like this is going to redefine all of my old stories and all of my old hang-ups and, around relationship and all the trauma, anxiety, stress, heartache that I've experienced. It's almost like somehow if it led me to this point of ultimate heart opening, I can accept my life's path journey and how it's been in love for me, that there can be something new that is both practical and exciting. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And I hope that I will see you on the weekly energy, the career reading. Check out all of the meditations. I have meditations there for you on the Celtic tree alphabet, and it's my way of bringing plant spirit medicine into your life so that you can experience the medicine of the trees. And feel free to just listen to them while you're doing laundry. The medicine's there. It doesn't matter if you're lying down, closing your eyes, or washing the dishes. So I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye.